welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of July 14th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me tonight, two individuals who had to do without last week.
I'm Benjamin Daniel Lawless, and we held up just fine, Stephen. We did okay.
Yeah, you guys were great.
Devon Craft here.
Yeah. I mean, Devon, of course, is like no comment, but we did fine. Just fine. We had a fun time. But hey, right at the top here, I want to definitely give Hank a big happy belated birthday. So thanks, Hank. And yeah, maybe you're listening. That'd be cool.
Happy birthday, Hank. Do we know who's Hank? Do I know Hank?
Longtime listener.
Oh.
You know, I work with him or worked with him. And then,
okay.
Yeah, but I think we've grabbed a beer one time.
Oh.
You and me and Hank.
Probably.
So
happy birthday, man. You
another
did it.
Year around the sun.
Another
year.
Rotation. There, we went around. We all did it together in the same general space. Awesome.
General space.
Hey, speaking of listeners, this isn't on our notes at all, but I did have a request of your mother.
Oh, that's right. Oh, my gosh.
You forgot, didn't you? You're like, what are you talking about?
I totally forgot. I completely forgot. And now I can copy that in here and just pop that in there. But we did get some listener feedback from my mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been begging, not really, but I've been asking for a while now for...
You begged. You got down on knees and you were... Yeah.
Yeah. I got down on knees. I can't find. Do you have it somewhere? Do you have the?
Yeah.
Okay, because
So here's a few stories.
Trying to
of
navigate
Ben as a child.
Yeah, stories of Ben as a child.
Yeah. So I mean, like I popped it into the notes like right after where you were typing. So if you want to just use that link.
Oh, there it is. Perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone can read along. Link will be in the show notes, dude. It's been
back to our website.
So she responded on the website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think that's where she usually listens to us from, is from our website, which that's really cool.
That's amazing. Yeah. And if other listeners didn't know, sciencefactionpodcast.com, they're all up there. This is what I was going to say. First of all, Martha, thank you so much, but you failed. Because the first thing I asked was an email. I asked for an email.
You fool! My mother doesn't email. Not to you, lowly low life.
I'm not. Yeah, it's not a don't email us. That's fine. But this is great. So here we go. I'm gonna read these because this is gonna be great. So she posted this on it just so happened to be the 250th birthday of this country of ours. She says, so here's a few stories of Ben as a child. I doubt they are embarrassing to him, but they are endearing to me. And I gotta say, she knows you quite well because I don't know of anything that embarrasses you, Ben.
Despite, no, you can't get this guy down for sure.
When he was a little guy, Ben would wake at the crack of dawn, way too early for us bleary adults. When asked why he was up so early, he always replied cheerfully and matter of fact, I wake up with Mr. Sun.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
true story.
Ben, could you get any cuter? Like, what is this?
So like we're my son is of age and we're watching Ted Lasso with him and he's after the first episode he goes, he's got real Benergy to my wife.
No.
Yeah. So there you go. And I
guess.
Was like, that's really nice. That's really nice to be compared to Ted Lasso.
I mean,
so
what high
else?
praise?
Yeah.
High praise,
right? Right.
Okay, well, to continue, if you interrupted your mother, you interrupted. Okay, here we go. Living in the inner city, Ben would always see the best of the situation, often exclaiming, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood." Sure, honey, whatever you say. Do you guys live in a slum?
We did not live in a really nice neighborhood at all. We lived in the inner city, and it was dank.
It was dank.
It was dank, not in like the cool way.
It's the inner city of San Diego. Like, I don't imagine San Diego having like a rough inner city, but I assume it does. But I just imagine it being like a nice place overall.
You fall asleep to gunshots ringing out. You got the helicopters going overhead. Okay. Finding the criminals, and you like. Yeah, I got mugged in 7th grade, walking home from the bus stop.
But were you dressed like a nerd?
I was reading a book while walking down the street.
Oh, you target.
Which automatically is like, oh, this person needs to be taught a lesson.
How dare he? And of course, I am joking. That's a horrible, terrible thing that happened to you.
However, like, I still think it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Like, that's fine. These things happen. That guy must have been in a really, really tough spot, thinking he could eke out some money from a kid walking down the street, with reading a book. So
it sounds to me like it's someone who is at the end of a long series of poor choices.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
then he got mugged.
Oh, Devon. Like a sniper.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Okay, let's continue. Young Ben would regularly trip us out by casually making statements like, "I used to drive one of these," when seeing a picture of a Ford Model T. A past life? Perhaps? I added perhaps. Or describing in detail a man who stood behind him while he was eating his bowl of cereal before school. A ghost?
And I remember. I don't remember the Ford Model T.
Okay,
but I do remember the ghost. Like,
so
yeah.
So you weren't like actively being creative about like, oh, there's someone behind me and this I'm going to describe them. You were like, I see dead people is what you did.
I have a memory. Yeah.
Okay.
Of a fella. Yeah. Like in like a dinner coat, not a dinner coat, like it was like a brown jacket. Yeah. I don't know. I can't really explain it. There's so many things in my life that like as an adult, I can't really explain from my memories as a child. And so I'm like, well, that's just like,
that's just the past,
it makes
man.
me up. Yeah. It makes me who I am now, but it also, like, whether it's real or not is kind of like, that's an interesting question, but it at least created the person I'm standing in front of you. Well, not standing, it's sitting miles and miles away from you.
I was going to say, we are not that close together.
Look outside, Stephen. You too, Devon.
I'm going to describe who's standing behind me. He's very bald. And he's smiling.
And both those things are by design. So,
yes.
Yeah.
When he was 3 years old, we didn't have a car, so walking to the bus was our means of transport. Ben would call out every vehicle that passed us, make and model, year, and sometimes specialty colors. Eyes would roll at times.
There you go.
So you were just...
I liked cars.
Wow. That's awesome. 3 years old. Yeah, 3-year-old, obsessed with cars. Makes sense.
Yeah.
When he
Uncle
played...
Steven, can we play with your Mustang?
No,
Uncle Steven.
Uncle Steven. I'm watching that kid this Thursday through Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, when he played outside, Ben's was the voice you would hear the most. People would ask, "Who is that kid?" "Oh, it's just Ben leading his pack." And they were all too happy to follow in all kinds of organized good fun. His friends would say, "Ben is so cool, he would cuss someone out without even saying a bad word." Dude, every one of these quotes from you make a shirt out of. People would buy these. Even I used to drive one of these, and then a picture of a Ford Model T.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Incredibly interesting.
Yeah, brother.
I can't remember Ben ever being the typical brooding, angsty teen. We often said that he spoiled us as parents because his younger sister was.
Yeah, she was a broody teen, way younger than being a een. So
I've only ever known your sister as being broody. So I just thought that's just who she is, right?
Right. Yeah, love her to death. But yeah, that's accurate.
How's her marriage going?
Good, really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice hanging out with them a couple weeks ago, and yeah, really, really good. Actually, she and her husband I went to Mothership with.
Oh, awesome!
And yeah. So super, super fun weekend. That yeah, with very little sleep. But well, who can sleep when you're having so much fun?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I talk too much, but about you, Ben. So, Devon, save us.
Yeah, tell more more stories about Ben.
How did you guys meet? No, don't do that.
Yeah, I feel like we've told that story a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. For me, the only thing I've done lately is we went to Long Beach, Mississippi, which is a trip Jen and her sister go on yearly and take the kids. Last year, I went, and Jen's sister's new husband went, and then this year, it was all of us plus a lot more people because Jen's sister invited 3 additional families.
Whoa.
So
okay.
It was literally, I think, a maximum, including the kids, 30 people. Because
that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of
the
people.
families are from Tyler, and everyone here has lots of kids. So I think one of the families had 6 kids.
Oh, come now. That's too much.
We've got 2 kids. Jen's sister has 3 kids, and then the other families. And so it was a lot. But so when we would go out to dinner, it was we would need a huge table for everybody. But it's kind of a small town, so it wasn't like a problem. We didn't really inconvenience people, I don't think, by going to restaurants. And they were it's a beach town, so everything's kind of more laid back and chill. So it was fun. I had to work while I was there, so we went. I went Wednesday night, and I actually drove with Hutton, Jen's sister's new husband, which was interesting because Jen and Jen's sister went earlier on Wednesday, and so I drove later. I worked most of the time I was there, but it was fun. Like I said, it's a small town. There's actually not a ton to do, but the hotel we stay at's right on the beach. And it has a swimming pool, so we use the swimming pool all day. We go to the beach. The beach, we went in the water, but I don't know, it's not like a.
Wait, is this we're talking about an ocean beach or like a lake beach or a river beach?
It's an ocean beach.
Okay.
But it's in the Gulf of Mexico, so it's less choppy, and there's also islands. I guess you call them barrier islands. I'm not sure, but the water at the beach is extremely calm. You could be on a lake.
Okay.
And it was a lot of but for some, it's also not the kind of beach that you'd go to play on the beach that much, or at least we didn't. But when I went to the beach, it was Friday night. After dinner, we decided to go to the beach, and it's so calm and so shallow. We literally could just walk out into the water. I was wearing shorts. I wasn't wearing a swimsuit at the time just because we had just come from dinner. And we walked. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it must have been a mile into the water. And it was still, the water was up to my knees. But it was a lot of fun.
In like the pitch black. Hold on, this was at night.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was like 7, with daylight savings time. It was still light. We were there until it got pretty dark, and then we left. And
okay, I imagined you just walking out into the blackness of the ocean, and it praying for an end, and it just keeps going.
I mean, but we literally saw dolphins, and like a group of us, not me,
wow.
but walked like even further out and got pretty close to the dolphins, and then it did end. We were on our way back into shore, and Nolan happened to like fall in the only hole that must have been out there. And according to him, it's like, he fell all the way into the hole and was filled with seaweed. Like, I don't know how actually deep it was, but it freaked him out. And so he just started screaming and running to shore. But like, since it was so far, it was just like kind of humorous, because it's like, okay, it's over, but he's, he has to take a breath and keep screaming and keep running. It's like, and, but being his parents were like, "Oh, are you hurt? Like, what's wrong?" But he's like, he was just scared. But
yeah, that sounds hilarious.
Yeah. That was pretty much the whole trip.
Right on, man.
Yeah, if anyone is in Mississippi during the summer and take a vacation, go to Long Beach, Mississippi.
But invite like 6 families. Make sure there's at least 30 kids. You'll have a great time.
Yeah. We went to the farmer's market there, which was very small. We went to a splash pad there on Saturday, which happened to be the day that they had like their, whatever it was, the firemen came out and like sprayed everybody with the fire hose. So they did that.
Did you find the marble in the oatmeal again?
Marble in the oatmeal?
If you find the marble in the oatmeal, you get to drink from the fire hose.
Okay.
It's from UHF. The Weird Al film.
Oh, I've never seen that. That's funny. Yeah, someone just mentioned that on this trip. Someone mentioned that movie. And the only thing I had to add was, Weird Al, I think, went to my college. At least that's the story they tell.
He did do that. Yes. Yeah, he went to our college. And he recorded another one, rides the bus in like the bathroom down the hall from where all my classes were. Yeah, but no, the actor who plays Kramer, he's a big actor in that film too. And he's... It's wild, man. It's a great. If you like Dropout, the streaming service, you'll love UHF because it's just a bunch of off the wall ideas.
Cool.
I gotta see it.
Well, speaking of seeing things, and I'm not talking about the ghost that's standing behind Ben right now. No, not that one. We saw Supergirl. Did you guys talk about that last week much?
We did not talk about it at all.
Okay.
No.
Well, then let's talk about it because we saw it.
Yeah, we did. You and me.
Yeah.
Yeah. we held our hands and jumped into the abyss together.
We skipped through the line, ordered popcorn. And wait, was this the one that your son went with us as well? Or no?
Gosh, I saw so many movies that weekend. Like I saw Young Washington, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And then, but I kind of held off talking about Supergirl for you to be here.
Okay.
I don't remember. I think it was, it was Uni and Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Nicole wasn't.
Right. Because it was at work still or something.
Something. Yeah.
Anyways, we saw Supergirl. And at the time, like I hadn't really looked at any reviews or any of that kind of stuff, except 2 headlines, one praising it as the best thing and another one damning it to hell, saying it was the worst thing. And it was just like, okay, here's the 2 extremes. They cancel each other out. I know how to do math. And so went in there to see for myself. What is this all about? I enjoyed the Superman movie. The latest, was it called something other than Superman? No, it's just called Superman, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think so. I don't know.
I can't recall. Multiverses on the brain lately. I can't remember what goes where anymore. Anyways. So we saw the movie. And afterwards I was like, that was a movie. Like it had some really good bits in it, but it also had some really bad bits in it. And then a lot of just like, I don't know what happened here. It seems like whoever created it wasn't quite as passionate about it as they needed to be.
Yeah,
a lot of it just felt kind of dull and lifeless. Not to say like the acting was fine. It was more just like the story, the pacing. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think that like it suffers from not really going anywhere in the third act. It suffers from problems where they invent new rules for how her superpowers work, and you're then spending most
all
of the
the
time
sun
thinking,
nonsense. Yeah.
yeah, all the sun nonsense, and you're spending a lot of the time thinking, oh wow, if this is how her powers work, is this also what happens with Kal-El? You know, like that was some of the weaker parts of it for me, where it just was like, well, you know, it brought me out of it because I couldn't help but think about what this means for other Kryptonians, not the one that's actually in danger, you know, here. Which, yeah, but I mean, I'll tell you that the first act is really nice. I really liked all the alien stuff, you know, because give me Guardians of the Galaxy, Farscape alien stuff, and I'm a happy camper.
Exactly. This felt very Guardians of the Galaxy when it comes to the design. I wouldn't be surprised. I have not looked into it, but I wouldn't be surprised if like some of the same set designers or costume designers or something.
Oh yeah, they probably worked with James Gunn, and then James Gunn,
he's got his
like,
people.
well, hey, yeah.
Did James Gunn direct this one, or did he just produce it?
No,
okay.
He's kind of the Kevin Feige of the DCU right now.
Yeah,
so he's kind of overseeing all the projects, but only picking and choosing certain things to work on.
Yeah, which I mean, that has allowed for some cool crossover stuff, and you know, some neat things. Some consistencies between the different projects that early Marvel definitely lacked. Anyways,
yeah, lacked, and I think to its benefit.
I mean, they're bringing it all back, so you know there was something there,
well, right? But I think that a large part of the film just so like it wasn't fun.
No,
you know, like there's large portions of the film where it's just like creating situations where Supergirl doesn't have her powers anymore.
Yeah,
you know, and that's.
It's just it's like a light switch. It's flipped way too easily and way too quickly.
Yeah. You know, for someone who like there were several parts of it where like her choice to lose her powers in order to get drunk because because otherwise whiskey doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, that's interesting. But when it's just like you've got what felt like an eternity of her hanging out just lying down in a cave waiting for the sun to rise.
So she's losing her powers by choice?
Yeah.
Early in the film she does, because she's celebrating her like 23rd birthday. And so she wants to get drunk. And the only way to do that is to go to a planet where the sun's rays doesn't like basically turns her into
red sun. It has to be a red
not
sun.
Superpower. Yeah.
Red sun like Krypton. Loses her powers.
So there's that. But then I think that like there's really fascinating parts of it, such as you get a lot of her backstory about what happened when Krypton died and where her parents and her society was for years post the destruction of Krypton. And you get like a very interesting thing where, like, for example, Superman, spoiler alert, Superman was sent by his parents in order to rule over Earthlings with an iron fist.
Yeah.
And he came to like he came to care for humans despite what his parents wanted. Well, the last thing that her parents said to her as she was being rescued from whatever situation that they were in was, take care of those who can't help themselves. And so like she comes to compassion from a very different place. And that like dichotomy and that difference was really, really fascinating to me. But then, you know, the end of the film, she just stabs the bad guy. And you think, well, he's been bad this entire time. Couldn't you just stabbed him at the beginning and been done with it? Like,
there wasn't a strong enough story there to really have this like pull, like, inner turmoil and pull between these two different worlds, because we don't know either one of those worlds. You know, like once you have established a character, you can be like, okay, well, part of her Kryptonianness is telling her to do one thing, but her, you know, Earth culture-ness is telling her to do another thing. And how do we, you know, do a tightrope walk between the two? Like, instead of that, they just went, sun's yellow, sun's red, sun's yellow, sun's red. Oops, sun's green. That's a new one. And then the movie's over. Like,
I mean, it like, I get it, because part of it is the film deals pretty heavily in human trafficking, and you know, and so like the concept that women like are having their power stripped from them constantly from society, and so that being like mirrored in the story that Supergirl is going through, totally get it. Just it's difficult when you're going there to have something that has any kind of joy in it, right? And
it was not a joyful film, and like there were some things that like didn't quite connect. And I know that this was a partial adaptation from like a very well respected Supergirl story.
Okay.
By the way, great line where they're like, he's Superman, but you're Supergirl. Just like that was a good line in the movie that they pointed that out.
For sure.
But
what
like,
was the explanation for that? Just
they shrug it off. I think
they hung a lantern on it, and they just didn't answer it.
I guess that's how it's always been, though, right? Like, is there a Superwoman? I guess there's a Wonder Woman.
Right. It's because he's the older, and so then she's the girl. It's, you know, old masculine nonsense. It's just there. I mean, she is always portrayed as being younger, but still a woman. So I don't know. But like, her story didn't mirror the story of the trafficked girls enough. Like, if there was something in her story as well where she was, you know, trafficked, which she wasn't. She you know, escaped her planet that was dying and then had to leave again because of reasons. Like, like those things don't mirror, and if they somehow did, that would have made the movie so much stronger. Because then you could see that, like, she sees their plight in her own plight, but instead it was more of a, if I just stop being sad about it, I can use my powers to save them. Maybe I should stop being sad about it. Like, so it changed, you know, in a way that it just made me go like, this was okay, but it could have been better.
And it's a real bummer, because at the end of the day, where she ends up kind of makes it like this film is like,
it doesn't need to exist.
To watch.
There's no reason for it to exist. The next time you're going to see her,
no change.
She's going to be Supergirl living on Earth and with her costume and just doing stuff. Like, it doesn't. You could completely have missed this movie, and the next time you see her, I would bet money that like nothing is referenced at all to have changed her or anything.
Yep.
Yeah. The movie was competently made, though, right? Like, the visual effects were great. The acting, you know, I thought was decent. I don't think any of the characters there was no poor acting going on. A lot of them just didn't have much to do. Like, even the bad guy, who was just bad guy make bad guy face. Like, he was the most generic evil guy to ever exist, with no backstory. What's their gang called? It's like the Bandits or something. Like, it's something just like, what? Not even a cool name.
And then on top of that, Lobo's in it. Really cool to see Lobo. See, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
However, there's more about them talking about him that you don't see. Like the entire thing starts off with Supergirl knows who Lobo is. He shows up and she's like, I can't talk with this guy. This guy is bad news, not interested. And you never actually find out what Supergirl is, what Kara's learned about him.
They kept it just vague enough that next time they need to dip into the well and pull something out, they're ready for him.
So the old DCU is completely gone because obviously Jason Momoa was Aquaman, and so that's not an issue.
Correct.
Not an issue. Yeah.
The door is closed on the Zack Snyder stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one, it was fine, and that's the best I can say about it. Really, it was fine.
Fine enough soundtrack,
Yeah, they pulled
a
some
couple bangers in there.
Yeah, they had some needle drops, and that's fine. I was going to say about Lobo. We got to stop talking about it. But Lobo, I feel like an executive watched the movie and was like, we need something right in the middle for boys. Because Lobo is the most masculine of masculine characters. He's just a alien, leather-clad, rocket motorcycle wearing, throws a chain around with a hook, always chomping on a cigar with a gravel voice with quips. That's all he is in this movie. I'm sure there's more to the character, but that was it. That's all it was. And if you took him and just excised him out of this movie, it does nothing to the movie. He was shoved in there. And I'm so I know Momoa was like, dude, I've been wanting to play Lobo forever. This might be my only chance. I'm getting older. The parts are becoming harder to do. I'll just do it. And maybe it'll be something. And if not, well, then I did it. That's what it feels like. And that's very unfortunate. Didn't need to be there. Yeah. All right. Anyways, we have so much more to talk about. I got one thing on my list. Yeah. Supergirl. Yay. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, too many other things. That's fine. Some of the patrons will get it. Speaking of them, we're going to take ourselves a little break. And when we come back, it's going to be future or now time.
Now.
Time. So we'll be right back.
Or.
Devon. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Sitting there listening to this for free, like some kind of podcast freeloader. Look, I'm not saying you owe us, but if you enjoy our deep dives into AI, space, and comic book mayhem, maybe toss a coin to your podcasters. Join our Patreon, get into our Discord, grab some exclusive content, and finally achieve that deep, satisfying sense of superiority over your non-Patreon listeners. Just imagine their sad, uninformed little faces. Patreon.com/Science Faction Podcast, because knowledge is power. And power is best hoarded behind a paywall. And we're back.
Heyo.
Hey.
Hi.
Heyo.
And a big thank you to our patrons, Josh and Renee. All right.
They're my two favorite people in the whole world. Okay, sorry you two, but those two patrons, my favorite people right now.
Well,
yeah.
I probably contribute more to the show financially than they do, Steven.
It's not about financials. It's never been about the finances.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then I've got to talk to my pocketbook about this.
Hey, Mr. Pocketbook.
This weekend I was wearing my BS BS Podcast Network shirt, and people were like, "What's that?" And I had to explain.
Oh my gosh,
it doesn't exist anymore.
What it was. So
we killed it.
Well, I'm glad that super awesome flashy logo was turning heads still.
Did you design that logo?
Yeah, I did. I mean, design is a very generous way to say that.
Hey, you designed it. It's okay. Yeah,
it is okay.
Yeah,
there's some.
You deserve some props for that, man.
I put a clip art into a Photoshop and I made it look different.
I was gonna say it was before AI, so you had to do something.
Yeah, it was more than a prompt.
A little more effort than just Yeah, giving a prompt to an AI.
That's right. All right. Well, all that being said, thank you, patrons. And it's time for Future or Now.
Future.
Oh, you dickhead.
Who's going first here?
Ben, even or odd?
Okay. Even.
I rolled a 19. Devon, go first. Sorry.
Okay. So I am basing this on an article from Science Daily that is brain activity under anesthesia challenges what we know about consciousness. Now, do you guys know how anesthesia works?
No, I don't.
I don't, but I want to preface that with saying if we're talking about consciousness, everyone needs to strap in because this is Devon's favorite subject. He's going to talk for the next 48 minutes about consciousness.
I don't want to talk that long, but yes, it is interesting. And one of the interesting things about anesthesia is we don't really know how it works.
That's frightening.
Yeah, we use it a lot. Obviously we know how to use it safely, and there's a lot of science behind it. But just like because we don't know a lot about consciousness, we don't know a lot about what's happening under anesthesia. We know consciousness essentially turns off, but since we don't completely know what consciousness is, we don't really know how that works. So, and I happened to just watch a thing the other day about anesthesia in particular, and they were talking about how we can detect, like, when someone is under anesthesia, parts of their brain are still active, but it appears that, like, the connectivity between the different regions of the brain isn't there. And under some theories of consciousness, like integrated information theory, the idea is that consciousness arises because of the communications between the different areas of the brain. So this particular study, it says the unconscious brain appears to be far more capable than scientists once believed. Researchers found that patients under general anesthesia could still process language at a sophisticated level, distinguishing nouns, verbs, and adjectives while listening to stories. They also showed that they have predictive ability. They can actually, when listening to a story, predict what word they can expect in a story, which is what our brains do normally. And the way they did this was they did hook up sensors to someone's brain while they were under anesthesia receiving surgery. They actually used neuropixel probes, an advanced technology that had never been used in the hippocampus for this type of research. And they were doing this on patients who were undergoing epilepsy surgery. They don't say what exactly that surgery was, and I don't know, but I know epilepsy, of course, is something that affects the brain, so I'm not sure what they do to the brain when they undergo that surgery, but they, of course, are under anesthesia when they do that. So, what they first did was they exposed patients to a series of tones and then occasionally put in unexpected sounds. So what they saw when the unexpected sounds happened, the neurons in the hippocampus consistently detected the unusual tones. Even more interesting, the brain became better at recognizing them over time, suggesting that learning or neuroplasticity was still taking place during anesthesia.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What kind
that's pretty cool.
So there were tones, and then was it irregular tones or irregular sounds? What was it?
Well, the way what I think it means is like probably a pattern of tones and nothing crazy. Just maybe like, it doesn't say this, I'm just assuming, but like maybe you have 3 tones that repeat at regular intervals, and then you throw in something kind of crazy. And then you see if the brain or the hippocampus lights up in a different way, showing that it noticed that there was something different in this pattern.
Okay.
And then as it did that more and more, it got used to those weird things happening, and then could be like, okay, now I expect there to at times be something random, and I don't have to pay attention to that anymor. I was showing that. Yeah.
I was just imagining like tones every so often, or at a regular interval, and then instead of a tone, it's just like that screaming goat sound. Yeah. Which now that has reminded me of something else. Very quickly, I was going through YouTube, and someone was displaying themselves watching, or they were studying something, but they picked a YouTube video that had intermittent loud sounds. And so the purpose, it seemed, is that if you're somebody who has, needs, I don't know, to be scared every now and then, you put on this thing, it's like 2 hours long, and then every now and then it's just like the super loud noise will go off.
Maybe if you're like driving and you don't want to fall asleep, although you shouldn't do that, because if you feel like you're going to fall asleep, you shouldn't be driving. But if you're trying to keep yourself awake for some reason, having unpredictable things like that probably helps.
Yeah.
Keep you aware. So, but that, okay. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so the anesthesia stuff. Sorry.
Yeah. So, all right. So they increased the complexity of the experiment by playing short stories. And I'll continue to record what was happening. And the hippocampus showed evidence of processing language in real time. Patterns of neural activity revealed that the brain could distinguish different parts of speech, including nouns, verbs, and adjectives. It doesn't say how. I think we can just assume that we know enough about the hippocampus and when parts of it light up to know what that's associated with. And there's a quote: "The brain appears to anticipate what comes next in a story even without conscious awareness," said Sheth, who is also director of the Gordon and Mary Kane Pediatric Neurological Research Foundation Laboratories. This kind of predictive coding. Yeah, this kind of predictive coding is something we associate with being awake and attentive, yet it's happening here in an unconscious state. Then they have a section on rethinking consciousness, which is probably the most interesting part. It says that suggests that cognitive abilities, including language and comprehension and prediction, may not depend on conscious awareness. And here's what I was talking about before, that consciousness itself may arise from communication across multiple brain regions. The research also noted similarities between the brain's predictive behavior and artificial intelligence, how large language models generate text by anticipating the next word. The hippocampus appeared to make similar predictions. This can help us understand possible biological and artificial intelligence, how the principles might be shared. It could also work towards future communication technologies, including speech prosthetics designed for people who have lost the ability to speak. So that would be interesting if you have that, but you have some way of have some kind of sensor in your brain that can help fill the gap. Of course, they say more research is needed, of course. I would be curious to see doing this kind of study on different parts of the brain, auditory and anything else, because, auditory, I guess, was part of this because the information was coming in auditorily, but if there's any other way to test other parts of the brain would be interesting. So yeah, that's, it's interesting to see how active the brain is while you're unconscious.
That just shows that your consciousness is a very small part of what your brain is actually doing at any given time.
Exactly. Like we've discussed before with like the theories of free will and things, it's like how much is your brain doing on its own and how much is your consciousness just kind of post hoc rationalization of what you've done while your brain has already actually done the thing or made the decision. I often I don't know if I've never been under general anesthesia. So I've never actually experienced
really
going under and then waking up a second later and being like, oh, wow, so much time has passed, because it's not sleep. A lot of people might compare it to sleep, but it's really not, because even though you don't experience time passing when you're asleep, but you still have some sense that time passed.
When you wake up from anesthesia, at least when I did, it's like you have no idea what's happening. Like it's utter confusion for like, milliseconds, and then your brain starts processing all the input, and you go, okay, who's around me, time of day, where am I, what's temperature, like all the information floods in, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what's happening.
And the thing I saw the other day where they were talking about how coming out of anesthesia, it's different for different people, and it can kind of be strange because some parts of your brain are like reconnecting before other parts, and so you can kind of have weird hallucinations or weird feelings and ideas of what's actually happening that aren't so it's interesting just kind of messing with the brain to see what happens. The closest I can
okay,
come,
mad
yeah,
scientist. It's
exactly.
fun
I
to
think
mess
that's what
with
we
the
should
brain, see what
Let's
happens.
mess with the brain, see what happens. The closest I've come to experiencing this has been drinking too much.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Here we go.
Which for me, I can only think of like 2 or 3 times where that's happened, and they're a long time ago.
You're talking about getting like blackout drunk, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
which is very bad to do, obviously.
Well, yeah. You do it when you're young and dumb, and then you grow up and you go, oh,
Yeah.
that was it's dumb.
But that's the closest I can think of to a time when I've been like, okay, I know I was conscious at this point, and then all of a sudden it was the next morning, and being like, okay, wait a minute, I didn't have an experience of going to sleep. I didn't dream anything. I don't have any sense that time passed while I was sleeping. It's just like an instant later. Now it's hours later. It's like that is very interesting to think about. It's like,
Yeah.
where I've seen it phrased as like, well, where did I go? It's like, well, you didn't go anywhere. There's no you that needs to still exist during that time. It's just your brain was functioning differently. It was still functioning in some ways. I mean, if it didn't function at all, you'd be dead. So
It's like you're getting drunk and then someone turns off the body cam. You know, like the information, the things that you're doing is still your brain's still braining, you're still you, but it's not getting recorded anymore. So then the next morning, there's no memory of it. Like that part is the part that shuts off. I'm guessing. I have no science to back this up, but that's how it sounds
no, you're
like
right.
to
It
me.
is different. You're right. It is different because you are still functioning. And so it's when you're under anesthesia, you're not functioning. You're prone, you're paralyzed. When you're blackout drunk, you are seemingly still somewhat functional, like you're still interacting with people to some degree, unless you pass out.
You seem a little skeptical of that, even though you experienced it.
Well, I didn't experience it. Maybe I wasn't there to experience it. But I'm assuming, because it still seems like there's a difference between like you passed out and you are passed out or blacked out, but you're still just lying there seemingly asleep, as opposed to you're blacked out, but you're still speaking and interacting, even though you're probably not doing a very good job of it. Like someone from the outside would say, well, you're still conscious, even if you're clearly very drunk. So there's some difference. Right?
So
Or
like
no?
I went through like an endoscopy, and so I had to go under for it. And one of the things that really struck me is the fact that when I came out of it, it wasn't like I was still at the doctor's. I was in the car, like being driven home.
Oh, that's wild.
And so like my earliest memory after the event was being in the middle of a conversation.
Okay. That's when your memory, like you were still somewhat functional before that, but your memory had to start recording.
Yeah, I must have been, because
so
I got into that car.
Or you weren't conscious. Like you weren't conscious during that time, but you were still functioning like you were conscious. So an outside observer would say, well, you must be conscious. You're talking to me. But then you would say, no, right now, this second, like I'm conscious, even though the last 5 minutes I've been talking to you, that was just, my brain on autopilot
I mean, it makes you wonder how much of our lives we're just living on autopilot.
Exactly. How many people are actually like that? We don't know that they actually, don't have a consciousness. They're just, their brains are running on autopilot.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I can only prove that I'm conscious. I can't prove anybody else is conscious.
Can you even prove that, though? Is something provable only something that? Because
I can prove it to myself. I can't prove it to you.
There you go. Yeah, true.
All right. Anything else with your article there, Devon?
Nope, that's it.
Excellent. Ben.
All right,
Let's
everybody. So we're talking about human brains, but I'd like to talk about artificial intelligence for a little bit. Don't like turn off the article or the podcast yet. Like, this is an interesting.
I just zoned out.
No. Kevin Kelly wrote this incredible article that I came across today that explained large language models in a way that I hadn't heard before.
Ooh.
And so generally the basic gist of it, like, okay, so imagine you've taken almost all of human knowledge, every book, journal, and webpage, and you've compressed it into a file small enough to fit on a card in your palm. And that's kind of the unsung, amazing thing that large language models have done, is that it's done this dense and high order compression that he likes to call latent space, where it doesn't store copies of things. It stores the abstract patterns and relationships between them. Right. For example, like very concrete, it knows all Shakespeare's plays. It could create a new play that sounds exactly like Shakespeare. It can quote famous lines in his plays, but nowhere in the model are the actual texts of Shakespeare. Instead, there's just the abstract information about all the plays, the plots, the characters, the words, the style, the references. And so in the same way, an LLM can recognize the face of almost any person, and it could generate any possible human face, but nowhere in its code are copies of human faces. Rather, the model is storing all this information about human faces without storing any faces. And so that's kind of like the basis here of like the real magic trick that all this is. And so this space is this map with millions or trillions of dimensions, and like every concept is a direction or a vector, right? So for example, if you've got like a dog that you're describing via the LLM, it has a vector that describes how much dogness or fluffiness or, you know, the color of the dog. Like, and, you know, when you are prompting it to change something about this concept, you're telling it to push it into a new direction, you know, like you can take, maybe take this shoe and make it more cat-like. So what it does is it goes along a vector of what it knows are the qualities of a cat, and it pushes that object closer to that vector.
And I mean, that's a really interesting way to think about it, for sure.
Right? Yeah. So it's not about talking about what is real, but this map that LLMs have contains everything that is possible. And that's like, you know, wild, right? So, you know, for example, like,
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble saying okay to that. But
okay,
but continue.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we're talking about trillions of parameters, right, and trillions of these dimensions, where the like every point that we are excising from this latent space is an object, and that point contains a bunch of vectors that are all intersecting in order to give you what it is that you're describing, right? So for example, another example that the article mentions is, you know, you give a prompt that says, hey, well, what would the history of the world look like if Romans had discovered gunpowder? So AI takes the general direction of the Roman Empire in history and pushes it further in latent space in the direction of gunpowder. And this is a huge intellectual feat because it requires a deep grasp of human history, a deep grasp of the chemistry of gunpowder, and there are very few humans who are expert in both, but LLMs are. And so it might take weeks for even the human expert to fill out all the possible new connections that would fill the space between these two ideas. But the LLMs do this easily because for them, the latent space is continuous. It's not just everything real, but everything possible based on its training. And as the model searches this vast map, there's no real distinction between what exists and what could exist, except for the directions of true and historical or real. Right, which is why it hallucinates, is because there's no real distinction, because there's no context about what is real for it. Mm-hmm. It's just what is possible.
Okay. Yeah, so they're probability engines, really.
Right. So then, what next? Like, let's just say that this does change everything. That this isn't a flash in the pan. You know, what then is what are the sort of things that we can that we'll probably be dealing with as the future comes. And so he had some suggestions. For example, what he calls white space discovery. So, the space of what we know, like known materials or proteins or the known chess plays, known ways to paint, they're only fragmented, patchy spots with plenty of these white spaces between them, the lateral space or latent spaces that Kevin Kelly is talking about. And so now we have tools to explore these white spaces in a systematic way. So, like, what gems await in between bluegrass music and ballet? All of this latent space is the new frontier. Invention shifts from think of something new to prospect in the gaps. And so when a gap or hole appears, the question becomes, is that gap empty because it's impossible, because it's unfashionable, or because nobody's looked yet? And, we're starting to see that a bit, right? But, there are so many other interesting kind of ways that things could go. For example, another thing he calls trajectories. So many years ago, the BBC broadcast a science program called Connections, in which the host followed the zigzagging path of inventions that were spawned as one obscure idea ran into another unlikely one. This path of connecting ideas could be thought of as a series of shifting directions in latent space that create a route or a trajectory through the space. It's not hard to imagine artists choreographing a journey of ideas and images morphing in an endless thread of connections. Their art would be a travel journey through latent space. Or if you've
I'm
got...
not sure I understand the point. Like, are we... like, what are we... Is this saying that AI will have the ability to do things like be creative?
No, this is just another way of thinking about how LLMs work. That's all it is.
Right, and how...
This is what they do now, though, right?
Yeah, now how we as humans, will be interacting with it, right? Okay. Because it's sort of this idea of, well, what now? What does this mean for... everybody's talking about, well, what does this mean for the workplace? Or what does this mean for, making art for our podcast? But perhaps there is an incredible amount of places here, for example, where you're simulated reality. So,
what I was actually just thinking about, about the whole simulation theory thing of having to process so much information that it seems impossible. The part of the theory of simulation theory is we have the technology to simulate the complexity of the world, but it's do we even need to simulate the complexity of the world? Aren't there ways around that processing? Or and this sounds like that's kind of part of that.
Yeah, or would there be a value in experiencing a simulated reality that did not mimic the real world in certain ways along a particular vector?
Well, if you don't know what the real world is, then you don't even have to compare it. But
right,
that's getting into simulation theory.
Yeah, but or would it be novel to experience a world where pouring liquids behave differently?
Okay. Yeah.
A bouncing ball does not arc the way that you expect it to. And, that there's it's interesting here, this article, as a medium for creativity that this is. And, and there are many other little suggested kind of science fiction-y places that the article goes. It's a bit long, but it is really, really fascinating to me.
Yeah, that's super interesting. To think of. LLMs aren't easy to explain to people, but this is another way to do it, for sure.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this. I hadn't heard of of things this way before, but it seems to really like, yeah, it feels right, you know.
I mean, it feels like an accurate description, yeah. Because you take these things you just can describe on this. So I'm thinking of it this way: you have an axis, right? And on one point of it, you have something, dog, right? And on the other end of the axis, Devon names something else, anything in the entire universe. Name it right now.
A Slurpee.
A Slurpee. So you have a dog on one end and a Slurpee on the other. And what you can do with an LLM is take a point on that line between the two, and it'll give you every variation possible between dog and Slurpee.
Yeah.
Because that's what it knows. And when you give it that line, that vector, that's what it's doing. It's just saying, oh, yeah, I can take, the dog and the Slurpee, and I can give you everything in between. But that doesn't, to me, point anything in the direction of creativity. Like, I don't understand how you would use, you could use this to be creative.
Right? Creativity is taste. Like, so how often do you hear about sculptors that they're not sculpting something, they're freeing a shape that was already in there?
I mean, I've heard that explanation, yeah. But I don't take it literally.
So, well, maybe you should.
There's marble people trapped in there. Get them.
Help them.
They're saying help.
Every block of wood.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
This one says.
They also say the same thing about music. Like, ancient composers were like, well, the melody already exists in nature. I'm just writing it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean it's true.
I'm just, I have a personal struggle between using AI or LLMs or however we want to describe them for the purposes of art versus using them for instructional use. I had on here on my list, and I'm not going to deep dive it or anything, but that I used ChatGPT to help update my Pi-hole. Because I tried just looking up directions on how to do it, and they were inscrutable. And
Did
so
you get like a new grill, like gold, or what? How'd you upgrade your pie hole? Your braces?
It took me a minute. You almost got me,
so
Devon.
A Pi-hole is software that you install on a computer that's attached to your network and it could be a Raspberry Pi, or it could be any other. Yeah, and what it does is it intercepts all traffic that comes into your network, and it blocks all ads and other tracking stuff that you don't want. And then it serves you the rest of the web page that you're asking for.
Yeah. It's a high-tech ad blocker. And so mine wasn't working, and I noticed that it needed to be updated. I didn't know how to do it. And I could not find an easy, here's how you update. I was like, it's got to be easier than this. So when I talked to ChatGPT, told it what needed it to do, and then and this is the part where I was impressed. I was following its directions, and then I ran into a problem, and then I was able to say, "Hey, here's what I did, and here's what the outcome was. Now what do I do?" And then it was able to troubleshoot the problem, and that's something that just finding, a list to follow online. I mean, that's great if you can find one, but if you can find an interactive one with all of human history behind it, maybe it's going to get you where you want to go. And that's exactly what happened. It helped me troubleshoot the problem, and I got it updated super easy. So,
and that's the fun parts that I've been having with coding with it.
Nice.
Is that when an error comes up, I just copy and paste the error in. Yeah. It's like, oh, I see it got that error. Okay, well then, and now in some cases it's getting good enough to check and go, oh, hey, I ran into the, I did the preliminary steps and I ran into the error. Let me fix that, without being prompted, which is, I'm not, I guess what I'm saying is that, as a techno optimist, there's been very little to be optimistic about this stuff for a long time. But thinking about this as just, this is this is another thing that's changing.
You really think techno's making a comeback, huh?
Oh, it's always been here, man. It's never going away.
Devon, your little giggle afterwards was beautiful.
Well, I thought about it. I'm like, all I've done is said really dumb jokes this episode. Should I keep doing that?
Keep it up.
Never stop. Believe.
Right.
Believe.
Until you're asked for a dumb joke, and then
then he goes,
then
I have
don't.
got nothing.
Yeah.
I give you an opportunity every episode, Devon, and you
Yeah.
rarely take it.
I'll tell you right now, I do not have anything for the end of the show.
Fantastic. I'm still going to ask you.
Wow.
Speaking of the end of the show, it's time that we get there.
Yeah.
Ben, was there anything else that you wanted to wrap up there with your article?
That's pretty much it.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, gentlemen, we've done it again. Here it is. And now we're done. So yeah, no news or weird things going on. So we should be back again soon. It's summertime, and man, I'm busy hauling these kids around everywhere. But that's life. That is the season, as Ben likes to say.
Yep. I sure do. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Make some shirts, man. I'm sure your mom would wear one. 100%.
For sure.
100%. All right, Devon, do you have any final thoughts for us?
I do not.
I thought you were going to come in with a banger.
No.
I'm so disappointed in you. Ben, do you have any last words?
Yeah. Did y'all hear? Turns out Canada is a real country. Yeah, it's not all maple leaf.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.